Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fourth Down Focus. It's been a while, but we've not really missed anything, let's be honest. Week 17 and 18, not that important for a Giants fan, a Raiders fan, and a Browns fan.
Very important, actually.
Well,
True.
important in what we'll get onto in a different video that's going to come out this week. Or I assume it'll come out this week. We'll see when I can be asked to edit them. But this is the wildcard week predictions. So, have we missed a few weeks? Anyone want to quickly bring anything up that we've missed before we get onto these predictions? Or
I fucking hate my franchise for again winning themselves out of the first overall pick.
Pete Carroll dead.
Kevin Stefanski
Jonathan
dead.
Gannon dead. Kevin Stefanski dead.
Yeah, a lot of coaches are dead. Mike McDaniel just before.
John Harbaugh. I think that's the biggest
dead. I think I read that 25% of the league has new head coaches next year.
What?
Which
I
is
can't say any of them. Were any of them a particular? I mean, Harbaugh, I guess, slightly surprising, but not really at the same time.
I think if Luke hits the field goal, it's Tomlin that gets fired.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, if the Steelers get knocked straight out, which we are going to get onto, is that Tomlin fired? Do you think, or
I think
No, they do it every week. Every year.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They do that every year. Surely they can't just keep selling for that. I hope they do. But
Yeah, I think LaFleur's in trouble if the Packers lose.
I think he is.
You reckon?
But I think that's a panic. I'd take him straight away.
I would take him as well very quickly, but
Definitely.
we should get John Harbaugh based on everything that's been said. So
As I said earlier, we need more than a head coach. We need the power of God. So
we just need a head coach, really, and
we're quite an attractive role actually this year.
I
For the
said
first time in a long time.
I said the top three coaching opportunities at the minute, in my opinion, are the Ravens, Giants, and Raiders. I don't really see.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
we must be the worst one, surely.
Nah, we've got shit tons of cap, which is the only sort of benefit.
Do we?
You got I swear you had loads of. Was it you had loads of cap? Was it someone else?
We've got Diddy on the roster, so that's not a lot of cap. And we just re-signed Myles Garrett. So I don't know if you've got too much.
I swear I saw a graphic that you had like a shit ton of cap space, but I couldn't.
Well, Andrew Berry kind of does weird things with the cap, which is kind of why I'm glad that he's not gone and Stefanski is, because I didn't want to have to have someone else come in and fuck all that up and make players cost more or whatever. But yeah.
No, I stand corrected. You do not have. Oh dear.
Yeah.
You've got 2 million in cap. It was the Titans who have 113 million in cap. Yeah, so the Titans could be a decent one because you've still got Cam Ward, who isn't a write-off just yet, and then 113 million cap space to work with a top 4 pick. I suppose that's not a bad place to go. Raiders, obviously, with 110 million cap and Fernando Mendoza would be nice.
We'll fuck it up.
Is the Jets really like? I know, obviously, historically, the Jets is like you don't want to go there, but like they've got a lot of cap.
93 mil.
They've got a lot of cap. They've got a lot of draft picks. They're kind of about to fully rebuild. I don't know if it's that bad of a place to go.
No, I think ours is probably the best one for Harbaugh because you've got the franchise quarterback, you've got the pieces, so it would be a pretty easy transition to get them playing well. Plus a dual threat quarterback. He did just turn Lamar Jackson into an absolute monster, so fingers crossed.
Shit, man.
That's basically all there was to talk about, really. We won ourselves out of the first pick as per every time we get there, and half the coaches got fired, and that was pretty much it, really.
The Browns won the last 2 games, but I mean, I wouldn't have celebrated them anyway. So that we weren't doing
the last 2 games, and I don't care. Although it's quite
lost one.
It is quite funny. Again, a 4-win season, we beat the Eagles and the Cowboys.
I think I watched about 5 minutes of the Bengals game that we won. So
I think I was working and I just kept seeing a score and score and score, and I was just getting progressively more depressed by the minute.
We sent Travis Kelce out on the loss. That was fun.
Against Chris.
I can't believe you actually won a game.
Neither can I.
It might be one of the worst week 18 in terms of the quarterbacks playing in these games. I mean,
that must be perfect for you, by the way, Keane. You still get the first overall pick and you beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, it was great. Fucking Daniel Carlson just showing us that he isn't actually shit. He just wanted the first pick by winning it with a 60-yard field goal.
He's nailed 5 field goals to win the game. No, nothing. But we will move on to the actual point of this video, which is our wildcard week predictions. And we're going to start in the NFC That is the way I have done the graphics. So we will start with this game, and we're all pretty much in agreement. Oh no, I've changed it. Wow.
Well, you've got a profile picture and everything. That's tough.
Change the graphics for you guys. Wildcard week. Change it.
Look at Mr. Graphics over here.
I know, right? We've all gone for the Rams, and I assume this was a fairly straightforward decision.
Do you know what? It kind of wasn't. If the Panthers hadn't have finished the season quite miserably, so I'm pretty sure they lost their final 2 games, I actually might have gone for them because they have already beaten the Rams this year. But I just think the Rams are too good for them.
That's kind of what I was going to say. Like, the Panthers have beaten this team, but I feel like in the playoffs, Bryce Young's ass is going to fall out a bit. He's got like no playoff experience whatsoever. Not many of them Panthers players will, so I feel like they'll fall apart a bit. And Rams experience will overcome them.
I mean, I was always going to take the Rams in my preseason predictions, but I just when wins like the Panthers over the Rams just don't happen more than once in a season, I don't think. And it was already a mental one to begin with. But this Panthers team, it's just impossible because they got swept by the Saints, but they also beat teams like the Rams. So it just doesn't make any sense.
They can show up. They're not as bad as their record sort of suggests they are, I don't think.
They show up, but they also could literally turn up and be the worst team you've ever seen. So it does highly depend on Bryce Young. I think Rico Dowdle falling off a bit doesn't help either because he carried them through a lot of their spells where they won the games that they got them into the playoffs. He's slowed down a bit. So as expected, he wasn't. Funnily enough, Rico Dowdle isn't a premier running back in the NFL as much as he was for like 4 weeks. But I just don't see them doing it twice in one season to the Rams. I also think any team with a losing record shouldn't even be allowed in the playoffs. It's absolutely ridiculous. But they're here, and I don't think it's going to last very long, personally.
I'd like it to, actually, though. I'd like the Panthers to win this game.
I wouldn't, as I designated myself a Rams fan for the rest of the year.
Well, we'll get on to who I designated myself a fan of.
So go Rams, because my team gives me depression, so hopefully this team won't as well. Not that I actually...
The most joy I've had from the NFL this year was watching your team, actually, James.
Yeah, brilliant. Don't you just love when Bobby Okereke turns into Defensive Player of the Year for 2 weeks when he doesn't need to win? Just fucking brilliant, isn't it? But yeah, we'll move on to the next game in the NFC, which is the 49ers and the Eagles. And much to my regret, I am taking the Eagles here. And you two have gone with the 49ers. Yeah, look, I think the 49ers injuries are still very much... I know they've done very well without the players, but they're still very much playing. And nothing I'd want more than the 49ers to win this game, right? I will be 100% rooting for the 49ers to win this game. But I just think the Eagles, obviously coming off the Super Bowl last year, they had a bit of a shaky run back end of the year, but at the same time, the 49ers, I'm just not convinced that they'll be able to sort of get that far. I don't know.
I just don't remember a time this season I've watched the Eagles and thought, yeah, that's the team. They've not convinced me that they are Super Bowl champions. I mean, obviously they are, but they didn't play like it for a lot of this season. And I feel like this could be an early bounce out for them. 49ers have kind of gone under the radar because everyone's just like seen them and thought, oh, they're injured. They're probably not going to play that well. But they've somehow snuck into the playoffs under everyone's noses. And Christian McCaffrey probably in the MVP race at this point, I'm not going to lie, because he's absolutely tore it up this season. So, yeah.
I was very much in between this, and then I remembered what Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift did to this Eagles team. I think that McCaffrey's better than them to put together by himself.
What?
So he can He can run through them. Look, this is not going to be an easy game for the Niners, but I genuinely think they've got enough. And I was really impressed with them actually offensively against the Bears on, I want to say it was Sunday Night Football. It might not have been, but they've shown that they can put up the points as well. So I think this Eagles team could be in big trouble because they've not been the same team this year at all.
I don't disagree. I can't look past the Eagles in the playoffs in recent years. They've been so good. And Niners coming off a game where they faced... I know you said about or the Bears did this Eagles defense, but this Eagles defense stereotypically is a good defense, and they played the Seahawks last game of the season and only put up 3 points. So I don't know. That's not a loss that you want going into the playoffs after being on, I believe it was like a 6-game winning streak before that Seahawks game. I'm not saying it's like the most demoralizing because the Seahawks are the 1 seed in this conference, but I don't know. I'd love for them to win, right? I think Brock Purdy's been brilliant since he come back into this team fully healthy. I think he's been sort of the catalyst behind them being so good. Look at the points he's been putting up in the games before the Seahawks, and it was 37, 48, and 42. So, they're certainly not scared to put points up, but I don't know. I want them to win, but I think the Eagles might just have a bit too much for them. Max shaking his head.
No.
I've
already said my piece. Don't come back to me. I've we'll
move on
to
the Packers and the Bears, and I'm again going to be different here to you two. You've
gone with the Welsh, James.
I've gone with the Packers, and I sort of mentioned it in the sort of coach firing bit, but I think LaFleur's job is on the line in this game. I know they've got injuries, but they've sort of got a few players back. They're on a horrible sort of losing streak at the minute. 4 losses in a row, which is not what you want to bring in to the playoffs, including a loss to the Bears, which is their first in a very long time. But I don't know. I feel like this is, as I said, LaFleur's job's on the line, and the regular season doesn't matter anymore. And I think the Bears have shown weaknesses in the last couple of weeks that, again, I'm still not convinced, especially losing to the Lions, who had absolutely nothing to play for. I'm not sure. Again, the Packers also did beat the Bears 2 weeks before they lost as well. So I know that obviously Micah Parsons is a big loss, and they've had their fair share of injuries, but with a few players back, I think they might be okay in this one.
I'm going to disagree. I think, you mentioned the 4-game losing streak. That can kill a team, like big time kill a team. And this Bears team, okay, yeah, it has definitely got its weaknesses, but it's just sort of been performing to a level that's acceptable to win games. Obviously, it's beaten the Packers already this season. And this is what the playoffs is all about, this sort of game. It's one of the oldest rivalries in sports, and it's at Soldier Field, and I think that's got a massive, massive help for the Bears. I genuinely see the Bears winning this game and then probably getting knocked out in the next round. But I think it's a massive improvement on where they were last year. So, they can't really, turn their nose up at that.
Very similar to what Kian just said. I think they'll probably win this one and then get bounced to the next round. But also, like Kian said, it is very impressive that they managed to make it here after the season they had last year. And, they haven't made a playoff since, 2018? Or they haven't had a winning season since 2018, were it? I can't remember. But also, I am now a Bears fan, and I have been since the Browns were mathematically eliminated. So I'm just going to blindly back them, and they're going to win the Super Bowl. Bears, Patriots, Super Bowl. That's what the people want to see.
That's what no one's going to see.
Drake May versus Caleb Williams. You can't tell me that's not interesting to watch.
It would be interesting to watch. It's never going to happen, but it'd be interesting to watch.
Well, no, I think they're probably both going to get bounced in the divisional, but...
yeah, I don't know. I feel like with his back against the wall, it's basically do or die for LaFleur, and I think this would be if he wins this game, even if they got bounced in the next round, I think he'd save his job, because divisional opponent on the road in the playoffs, you win that game, probably keeps you in the job for next year, I'd imagine. So Jordan Love's weird in the playoffs. He was quite good last year. I don't know. I just think on paper this Packers team was a bit too much for the Bears, and I also think the Bears just aren't as good as their record suggests.
I think what you just said makes this harder for the Packers because they've got all the pressure on them. LaFleur's got a lot of pressure on him, and the Bears are it's a free hit.
I wouldn't say there's no pressure on the Bears though. As the 2 seed, you're the favourites, and
you are the favourite. But in terms of the overarching situation in Chicago, there's going to be no repercussions for losing this game.
No, but I feel like they know that the chances for them to get far in the playoffs are high because of the seeding. They'll play worst teams. So they know if they did win this game, then they could have not saying easy run, because never easy in the playoffs, but I don't know who they'd face based on our predictions if they went through as the 2 seed. I believe they play
Rams, were
the Rams, I want to say, yeah, because obviously the Packers are the 7. The 6 seed is the Niners.
Yes.
So the Niners would go to Seattle, and then we'd have You'd have the Bears playing the Rams. I don't know if it changes. The Packers got through. Packers will then go to Seattle.
Yes,
Yeah, it's confused. I'm too tired for this whole math stuff.
Packers will then go to Seattle, and then it'll be the
Bears
Rams.
are winning the Super Bowl. Move on. That's what's happening.
I believe that's it for the NFC side of things. So now we'll move on to the AFC.
Before we start on the AFC, I'll just say how happy I am to not see the Chiefs in this year's AFC playoffs.
Hitler dead. We won, boys.
I mean, there's 2 teams from my division this time, which is kind of hurts me a lot. But I'm just glad one of them isn't the Chiefs.
Hitler dead. We did it.
Exactly
we
that.
Made it.
First up, the Steelers versus the Texans. We've all gone with the Texans to beat the 4-seed Steelers, who, as you said, snuck in due to that Tyler Luke missed field goal in that game against the Ravens. Anyone want to start this one?
This was the hardest choice for me. And I'm never going to back the Steelers in this situation for deep personal reasons. But I feel like it could just be a trap game because it's in Pittsburgh, which could really affect this game. They're quite a loud, towel twirling gimps, aren't they? So, they'll make a lot of noise. And we can't forget that the way that this Houston season started and, are they just on a good luck run of form kind of thing? Is it going to run out here? I hope not. I hope CJ proves everyone wrong because I still think he's definitely the guy for them. He just had a bad start to the year and whatever the fuck last season was, we can ignore that. But yeah, this one could be very close and that'll pain me to see. I don't want to see Pittsburgh do anything.
I'm kind of very similar to that. I sort of struggled, but I'd argue that Houston are probably the form team at the minute. Everything they do at the minute is just going right for them. Their defense has really, really stepped up. And I think that if it comes down to offense versus offense in this game, then I genuinely believe that the Houston one is just better than the Pittsburgh one.
If it comes down to offense versus offense, it's going to be a shit game.
Oh, of course. It will be a terrible game. It will be field goals and someone will miss one. But I just think that Houston's is better on paper. And my only thing that nearly had me going for Pittsburgh was just that Aaron Rodgers knows how to do it in the playoffs. That was it. But CJ Stroud has also won in the playoffs before.
Don't talk about that game, but don't need to mention that game.
He has. The CJ Stroud battered the Browns in his rookie season in the playoffs. So, he knows how to do it. He knows what to do. So I'm going to go for Texans, but I think this will probably be one of the closest games of the weekend, if not the closest.
I agree. It was tough, and my thinking was more team that plays in a dome in Texas versus going to a team that plays in the freezing cold in Pittsburgh is going to be a definite change to adapt to. I think CJ's. I mean, if you look at this Texans team, they're 3-5. They've ended the season 12-5, so they've won 9 games on the spin coming into the playoffs. So as Kian said, they're probably the most informed team. I think they are. They have to be right. The most informed team in the entire playoffs. So. It's hard to ignore that. I think the cold weather will obviously be a benefit to Pittsburgh. They're used to it. Houston are not, funnily enough, playing in Texas. So, again, not in a dome either. So, Fairbairn, who's been very, very good, would have certain struggles as well. But I think CJ's going a bit under the radar for how good he's been in this stretch of 9 games. They've been very, very good on offense as well.
Even that terrible O-line has started to put it together a bit.
Yeah, it has started to look better.
Which we'll get to in our mock draft because I'm still taking a line for them. Spoiler.
We will.
But
having just looked at mine, we will.
We won't for me. But yeah, I don't know. I just think this defense, in my opinion, is probably the best in the entire NFL at the minute going into this on form. So, are you shaking your head? Why are you shaking your head?
Seahawks is incredible. The Seahawks,
at least in this side of the bracket, is in very close competition with the Denver.
In the AFC, they're the best.
Them and the Broncos are obviously the 2 standout defenses.
It's Texans, just Myles Garrett on his own, and then the Broncos.
But I just think they'll have a bit. As if it comes out of quality versus quality, this Texans team wins 10 times out of 10. So I think it'll definitely be the closest one. I think, and this was the hardest one to predict by far, in my opinion. But I think just about the Texans will get it done. Anyone else got anything to add to this one? Or
this one was tough, but I feel like all the AFC ones were a bit tricky,
I feel like the NFC ones were hard. I think that it's always going to be difficult. This is, it is the playoffs. It's always going to be
given Sunday.
This is football. This is football.
And I think the next two will show how difficult. I think the next one was arguably as difficult, so we'll move on.
I've just got a notification from NFL UK gamblers on Facebook, so they must know that the playoff season's coming.
We've got the Bills.
This might have been harder.
Yeah, so we've got the Bills on the road against Jacksonville. Kian has backed the Bills. Me and Max have gone with the Jags to get it done at home. And I feel like if this was the Bills at the 3 and the Jags at the 6, I would probably agree with you, Kian.
My whole reasoning behind this, and I know he's not had his best year, and I know you're dying to say that, James, the second I mentioned his name. But Josh Allen, for me, this year has no excuses. This is probably his easiest path, I'd say, to a Super Bowl when you look at who the 1 seed is in the AFC. And obviously there's no Chiefs, and that's been his kryptonite. He shows up in the playoffs. He always has, until they play the Chiefs. So I just think he is good enough to beat this Jags team. Obviously not by himself, but, running a lot of that offense. I like this Jags team. I think they're a good team. I think Cam Little was a fucking freak. But I just think that this Bills team he knows what to do in the playoffs, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to hope it wins because I'd like them to win a lot, to be honest.
You're dead on with Allen, though. There's no Mahomes, there's no Burrow, there's no Lamar. That sort of makes it as easy as he's ever going to get, probably, for a run to the Super Bowl. But Trevor Lawrence is playing at an MVP level quietly as a quarterback, and especially in the last sort of couple of weeks. I think we all thought after we watched them in
I don't feel like that's possible. I don't think you can quietly play at an MVP level. You either are or you are.
Well, I feel like in the last 6 games, basically since London, he's been that sort of level.
Because he was shit in London.
What I mean, I think after we watched them in London, we also wrote them off as a nothing team, and all of a sudden they're the 3 seed.
I think Liam Cohen. We'll get onto this later in the year, but I think Cohen is my coach of the year. To be fair,
he's up there. I think he's not in the conversation enough as he should be. I think he's Ben Johnson as well, so not as high up on the odds.
No,
as he probably
they both should be.
I actually think that Kian predicted that right as well.
I think I did.
Do this in a separate video, but I actually think he picked Liam Cohen because he didn't know that we were doing Coach of the Year, did he? He thought we were doing Comeback Player of the Year.
I'll be brutally honest. You don't want to see our predictions from the start of the year.
No, I picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl and just fired their head coach. I
had the Jets to finish above the Dolphins.
We'll do it in another video, but just off the top of my head, I swear Kian just randomly picked Liam Cohen.
I think I did because I think I'd written down Damar Hamlin.
But I think the Jags, with the level they've been playing at the last couple of weeks, is going to be tough as well for the Bills on the road in Jacksonville. I'm going with who I think is the better team more than who I think turns up. Obviously, we don't really know what to expect from the Jags in the playoffs. I can't remember the last time they did. Have they done it under T-Law? Or was it Blake Bortles the last time we saw them in the playoffs?
I want to say he's been in the playoffs once, but I don't know if I'm right.
I think he might have.
I'll find out.
It feels like they should have been in at least once in that division. But
they snuck in recently-ish, 2-3 years ago.
You feel like in that division they probably have at some point, but
I'll go on to my point if you're done, James.
Yeah.
Feel free to carry on. Very similar to what you said about Wembley. We all we were at that game, we watched that game, we saw nothing from T-Law. We all sort of wrote the Jags off a bit, and since then they've been on an absolute tear. Obviously, it helps that the Colts absolutely fell apart because they looked like they were certain to be the number 1 seed in the entire conference, and they absolutely fell apart, which I'm sure James is happy about. I don't know why.
Nothing to do with Daniel Jones, though.
No, of course
there's nothing to do with Daniel Jones.
Because I was actually rooting for them in the end when it was Philip Rivers.
I kind of want to see Unk in the playoffs one more time. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if the Bills win. I quite like the Bills. I like Josh Allen. And I feel like is there even a way that they can get one more playoff game at Highmark here?
No.
With the seeding?
I don't think, unless who's the 7 seed?
They would never play the 7, though, I don't think.
No, if they both won all the way to the NFC Championship.
Oh, yeah, true.
So the only will they do is if them and the Chargers get to the AFC Championship.
The Chargers aren't going to get the AFC Championship.
I was going to say they might want to try push for one more game at Highmark, but that's not going to happen. They need to rely on too much there. So, yeah. The fact that they're not playing at Highmark for this game also might majorly benefit the Jags.
That's what puts me off as well. Because when's the last time the Bills played on the road in the playoffs and won would be my question. Because they're
It doesn't happen because they always end up at the fucking Chiefs.
So that's what puts me off about this Buffalo team is I don't remember a time under Josh Allen they've played a playoff game on the road and they've won. Because I feel like they always get to the championship on the road and they always lose.
To answer the Trevor Lawrence question, he's 1 of 1 in the playoffs. He beat the Chargers in 2023.
How's he 1 of 1?
Well, how's he 1 of what shot?
1 and 1. Sorry, 1 and 1.
I was going to say.
He always lost to be fair to him, he then lost to the Chiefs.
Okay, so he's not bad then. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm the concern about Buffalo in the postseason not being on the road.
I actually think I remember this game now. He threw 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions against the Chargers. But I want to say Herbert threw 5.
He might have done.
I mean, they just, to be fair, no, they played the Chiefs at home, I want to say, 2 years ago.
No, it wasn't. It was at Kansas.
Well, the 24-27 in the divisional game.
The only one Trevor Lawrence has played in was at Kansas.
No, it was at it was at Highmark. And yeah, they lost that game as well, so... yeah, I don't know. I just feel like with the Bills, that inexperience on the road might hurt them. And I think the Jags, as sort of Max said about the Bears, there's not really any repercussions if they don't win this game, I don't think. So I feel like it's more...
You didn't agree with my theory on that one when it was the Bears. You agree?
No, but like I sort of see it more with this one because there's so much pressure on Josh Allen with no Lamar, no Mahomes.
Pressure, but the pressure's only to the extent that he's going to get slandered in the media and they're going to like chat shit about him.
He is. What is he now? 29.
Even then, I think it's unfair just to pin it on him. The weapons he has.
The Bills defense.
I think that's why it's pinned on him is because that team is so bad outside of him that
the Bills defense stinks. I think.
Yeah, it does.
Which is another thing we'll get onto in the mock draft video, which you all better watch and enjoy.
I've not got them taking defense.
I do.
I did.
Off the top of my head.
No, I just think the Jags will have the pressure off, and at home, I think they'll be all right.
Final game.
That takes us on to the final game, and you're not going to like me here.
That's so
I'm
tough.
going Chargers.
What world? If man.
Right.
You can't even say a playoff experience because he's not done all in the playoffs.
No, right. So, my points for this one. So it's Chargers Patriots in New England. I think that Justin Herbert desperately needs a playoff win on his resume for one. And, you know, he needs one soon because otherwise the if-man thing is never going to stop and they're just going to keep getting the whole first round. I also think the Patriots are 1-2 against teams with a winning record. That means they've only played 3 teams this season with a winning record. So everyone likes to bring up other team schedules, but they've had the easiest one by far, and they've struggled against the teams that were good on their schedule. This Chargers team have been much, much better going into the playoffs than they were, say, a couple of months ago when they were a bit of a stinky situation. They've been much better recently. I think obviously the last 2 games weren't great, but they were against 2 very good teams, against the Texans, and the Broncos. So I think that Herbert's overdue. This Patriots team isn't as good as people think it is. And I think the Chargers are going to cause an upset.
Justin Herbert does not have the mentality to win a playoff game. In his last playoff game, he threw 4 interceptions and 1 touchdown. In the one before that, he threw 1 touchdown. He's not quarterback who's going to win for you in January. He's fine in the regular season, but I just see this streak continuing. And this New England team, again, we were talking about form with the Texans. This again is a form team. They absolutely battered. Okay, it was only the Jets. They absolutely battered the Jets. They got a quarterback playing MVP form. I just struggle to see a way the Chargers win this game. I think this New England team is too good. And obviously, you mentioned dome stadiums, hot climate. It's the exact same for this. LA is very hot. Foxborough, Massachusetts is very fucking cold. So, yeah, give me the Patriots.
I was just about to say my main thing for this, outside of my love for Drake May, is that this is going to be a game where home advantage definitely affects the game, like hugely. Going to Foxborough in the playoffs, that's got like I hate the word, but it's got aura around it. I know it's not Bill and Brady anymore, but still, that's like not a place you want to go in the playoffs. And I think that a man who's struggled with playoff mentality, that's just going to get in his head even more. And I think he's going to be able to pull it off. So give me Drake, May.
I just can't look.
I swear to God, if I have to watch the Chargers Broncos in the playoffs, I'll end it all.
I just can't look past the Patriots winning one game this season against a winning record team.
Listen, they can only beat what gets put in front of them. So.
Yeah, but the Chargers have played 7 and they've won 4 against winning record teams this season, which for me it's a benefit. I think the Patriots have just had. I mean, how many games have they actually had to really get out of second gear to win? Dolphins, no. Jets, no. Ravens, a bit. The Bills, they lost.
It's not intriguing, though.
Giants, easy. Bengals, easy. Jets, easy. Bucks made it.
It's only easy because they're making it look easy, though. The Broncos have played a very similar schedule and made it very, very hard.
These teams just lose games all the time. The Broncos win these games as well. But I'm not saying
they make it look hard. If you're saying it looks easy, the Broncos make it look hard.
No, I'm not saying it looks easy. I'm saying they've made games that should have been easy harder than they should have been. For example, the Bengals should never have been close, and it was. The Bucks should never have been close, and it was.
I'm not going to go down that route. Actually, I was going to say that this Chargers team lost to the Giants, but this Patriots team also lost to the Raiders. This Chargers team did also lose to the Commanders.
I don't think we can look at any of this. This comes down to this game on this night.
Yeah, I just think the Chargers have I think there's a lot of expectation on this Patriots team with how many wins they got and all the hype around Drake May, who's not the MVP. Can I just say?
Can I just say once again, absolutely no pressure on Drake May. He's in his second season. He's made it to the 2 seeds of the NFL, playing against a man who's been called a consistent ball job or if man, as you two like to say.
The hypothetical hero.
Hypothetical hero also works. Hypothetical Herbert has been.
I don't think there's much pressure on
Madison Beer's boyfriend. I don't
think there's much pressure on as far as stuff changing in LA. Nothing's going to change if they lose this game. They're not going to fire hard.
There's big pressure. If he loses this game, all he's going to get for another year is you can't do it when it matters.
Yeah, but he gets that anyway, so it's not going to change.
But he's not going to get that if he wins.
I think he will. I think he will. I really do think there's an upset here. Also, I don't refuse to believe that all the expected winners will go through. I think we need like a big upset. With how this season's gone.
My upset is the Jags.
It's gone. There's an upset somewhere. And it's not an upset. They're the 3 seed. It cannot.
No, that is an upset though. That is I don't know what the odds are in the bookies, but that to me is an upset.
I believe the Jags are the favourite.
I genuinely see a world where it's the Panthers.
Maybe James will fucking.
The Rams ain't losing.
Well,
the Rams ain't losing twice. I will say that with chest. The Rams ain't losing twice to the Carolina Panthers in the same season. There is no way.
Clip it.
We'll see.
This game for me has the most upset potential.
I don't think no team that wins here is an upset.
The fact that you consider it an upset is a compliment to the Patriots that you've just spent the last 10 minutes slagging off.
Well, it has to be an upset. They've won 14 games this year.
Well, apparently the games
can't not be an upset. They don't.
But I wouldn't consider it an upset if the Chargers
they are the favourites because they are the favourites. Therefore, if they were to lose, it would be an upset. But
Patriots are winning the Super Bowl.
I also think if the Patriots do win this game, no, we can't have that already. They haven't.
Bears beat them in the Super Bowl. That works for me.
Yeah, I'd take that.
They haven't snuffed long enough. To be fair, I think.
God, James.
I was going to say if they win this game, they will lose to what I believe would be the Texans based on our predictions. I think they lose that game.
I don't actually need them to advance any further because my prediction has already come true. They're in the playoffs.
I think I had the Bills to make the Super Bowl.
I think you did.
So did I. I had them to lose to the Rams, so that could still happen.
I think you had them to win, Kian.
I did. I have them to win every year, though.
I had Eagles.
I believe you had them playing. Who would you? I don't remember.
Might have been the Eagles.
Yeah, I think it was the Eagles. You had the Eagles.
I went Eagles Ravens. I've predicted the Eagles to get bounced in the first round, and John Harbaugh's been fired.
Speaking of John Harbaugh, he's not doing any interviews until next week.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Mr. Petulant.
Just seen it come through.
Just delaying his time to become a giant. Weird guy.
He's only
but
about 6 foot, isn't he? Sorry, right, go on.
that is it for our wildcard week predictions video. As Max alluded to, you might see another video this week, depending on if he can be bothered to edit it.
Alluded to. I full on told him what the video is.
We forgot, just quickly. Who wins? Ole Miss or Miami?
Oh, yeah. Ole Miss. I believe in Trinidad supremacy.
I'll go Ole Miss. Fuck Miami for beating Ohio State.
I believe in Trinidad Chambliss. Who wins? Indiana, Oregon.
Ooh.
This isn't even tough. Indiana have beaten everyone they've played so far this season. Indiana.
I know, but it's something about that Oregon defense.
I'm gonna say Oregon because I can already see the storylines of the fact that Moore beat Mendoza. Maybe he's the number one pick. I can already see it happening.
I just can't wait. I want Oregon to win, so the Raiders do a Raiders and think that Moore's the better quarterback, and they take it.
I will actually end my life on this podcast.
Or you just trade for Kyler Murray and you trade down anyway. That'd be
again. That's not happening. What is your obsession with that? Are you
Kyler
on commission?
One of you or the Jets is stupid enough to think that's a good idea.
Are you on commission from Kyler Murray? Like, why do you keep mentioning him?
I'll happily take commission to PR him into a Raiders or a Jets team because that'd be so fun.
You haven't got that pull, buddy.
Yeah. Also, Miami's defense also scares me with Ole Miss as well because that defense is probably
It is a good defense, but Trinidad can beat anyone.
I believe in Trinidad
and Joe Hendry.
Fuck off.
But that is all we have for you for our wildcard week predictions, and we should see you all in a couple of days for another video if Max can be bothered to edit it. So see you all then.
I'm not doing what else. I'll do it.
Bear down.
Bear the fuck down.
See you in the next episode.